Hi, I'm Mary Gunn. Welcome to Fun University. Hi, I'm Mary Gunn of Mary Gunn Fun, founder and head professor of Fun University, welcoming you to the last August 2020 Cards Plus Lab. We've been talking about yellow and red and different other things. And tonight we're going to talk about that last primary color, blue. I hope you've enjoyed this little, a little journey into color. We've just barely scratched the surface. You can do doctorate thesis on color, but we're not going to right now. But it's been fun to create, but honestly, I am ready to start combining some colors because I did a lot of that were just red, just yellow. Now we're got 4 that are just blue, but I've got lots of samples for each of them and they have color. So it's like 1963 again with NBC, The Wonderful World of Color, and that peacock. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you're probably young. But let's get started with our lesson tonight. Thank you so much for being here. It's always so nice to have friends. We're going to talk, I'm just going to throw this one out. This is a card that didn't even make the grade. This was a pretty blue card, and it's ombre, and I did it's all one piece, the focal point, and then did the ombre on top. But the fun thing on this one was I die cut a larger frame that had stitching and then just cut it for a little divider there. So just one other point on this to get you started thinking about blue. Blue is a beautiful, cool color for the most part, and so silver is often a lovely complement, a metal complement to it. If the golds usually go with more of a yellow based color, so just FYI, you can do blue and gold, but if you do think it has a little bit of a clash, that may be it. So try silver. I gotta get some silver paper. This was like the end of it. So anyway, that's just a tip, and it's not even a card for tonight. Had a cute little card there. Oh, here's another one this is an aside too. This one, okay, we have slims. We have slim lines. We have mini slims. Now we got chubby slims. That doesn't make any sense. Chubby lines. This is a little fatso, and he still fits into a business size card. Envelope. What he is I took an 8.5 by 11. Let me just get one right over here. An 8, I don't know. Nope, that's not one. I just found that in the bin there. We took an 8.5 by 11, took the 8.5 side and cut down a 1/2 inch. It's just a whole nother thing. Nobody's doing it right now, but so you take the 8.5 by 11, so along the 11-inch side you cut off a 1/2 inch. You could make it longer then. This guy I cut at 7, but you could definitely make him longer and then you'd have a really fatso. You could even make it, let's see how big that is. Okay, like 9.5. How big is this? 9.5. Okay, let's make it by 9, and he'll be a big fatty. So instead of being 3.5 inches like a lot of them are, he becomes, was it this way or this way? It was this way. He becomes 4 by whatever length it was. Nope, that was the wrong way. But anyway, it's just another way to think of cutting it. Hey, boy, Lady Barb caused your stock a lot. This is a whole nother way to cut, which is just making him fat. So I don't know what I did, but it's okay. Play with it. That's the point. play with it, and you don't think that the slim line is the end. It's not. It's just a beginning. The mini slims are just a beginning. You can make fat boys too, and I kind of like the fat boy. Let me cut him so he fits into an envelope, the right size envelope. Then you can get into the 5x7s. That's a whole nother thing. Look how fun that is, though. Honest to Pete, you can get lots and lots of card real estate if you want. I think that's actually very cute size. It's different from A7s. I'm going to explore that one some more. I think it's small enough that it's almost an A2, but it's got a little extra growing spurt. So that's another one. I did want to talk to you a little bit about these two, and I'm going to put these up in the lesson. A lot, I see a lot, even in professionally made cards, that I see one little thing on that makes everything a little less harmonious. So one thing I just wanted to point out, if that's something that you have trouble with, this is just one tip, and I've mentioned it before, but this was a visual for it. If your card is of equal intensity in color, you're going to have more harmony. Like if you stuck this guy, or this right on top of this, and then you put those tried to put those light colored images on there, it's going to have a little bit of a problem. It looks kind of cool like that, but it's not going to stay as consistent. Then also, if you put this guy over here, he's going to get lost. Or if you just had this bright blue around here as a frame, which I do not have a sample of, this is going to get lost. So if you do have a problem with one of your cards, and maybe you have something that's a little bit out of sync with the entire homogenization and harmony of the card. So that's all. Yep, Stephen's like, we were talking about cones and rods this morning or this afternoon. Eyes are much more sensitive to contrast than color. Interesting, isn't it? But here was kind of a fun thing. I cut it wrong, and so it has kind of a fun little design here with just cutting the same piece of cardstock and then just making a little bit of an interest there. And I roughed it up so that you could see the edges. And I did it on both of them because I thought it was kind of cool. So if you wanted to, that's a whole nother design thing that you can do, which is take a piece of cardstock these are 4 inches, so you could do 4. You could actually do 4 across, rough them up or ink them somehow or other so that they have a little bit more different, something that defines them a little bit, and that could be a pretty interesting background for you. So that's an aside, but that's a kind of a fun aside. So fun aside, that sounds like something that kills fun. We don't want that. That's Eunice. This was just a card I made out of the scraps today, so I thought it was cute. That's all I got for that. Okay, if there's any cards from this month's lesson that are not in the gallery and you want to see them, let me know. I've got them tonight. All right, so tonight we're doing blues. We're doing Slim Jim line Sam Elliott's. We're going to do them, and we're going to get started tonight with blues. And honestly, I'm really tired of one color, but it's okay. We're gonna persevere, and we're gonna get it done. These are some, let's see, what are those called? Peacock and crystal blue and a white, and I have 3 strips. This is one of the slimline cards, and I forgot to write it down, but it is in foundations. And let me get a piece of scrap paper. Ooh, it's quite a used piece of scrap paper because we're going to be coloring and stamping some of these little strips instead of using cardstock. Okay, so you could use cardstock. You could do, these have stripes on them. You could do cardstock, you can do pattern paper, you can do ribbon, you could do anything that's going to be long and thin. So let me get a couple inks out. Goodness, there's quite a bit of traffic out there. That's very unusual. But we're just going to, I'm going to save one out because I'm going to stamp on one. And we're just going to do some quick coloring here. This is a crystal blue, which is an old color from Close to My Heart. And it's just a little bit yellower than the current blue, which is fun. So if you have crystal blue and you've been trying to use it with a current blue, that may be a little bit of a fight. You may be why. I'm just going to do the edges on this one. Except the edges don't work as well with these brushes, but I'm not going to take the time to do it with a sponge. And I was listening to somebody the other day, and she was saying that it's so much easier to do things horizontally, and I didn't really think about that too much, but I think I've mentioned that before, but I'd kind of forgotten about it, and she was right. It is. We go from right to left, right? So it's just, when you're working on something, it is easier to go horizontally. Now this one, we're going to do some little Kerwin feet. Can I get some Kerwin feet emoticons here? Because we're going to do them right here on this little middle one here. He's going to have little, can you imagine what I'm going to put on for a focal point? It's going to be a blue cat. Well, a white cat. But this makes a cute little, there they are. There's those little feet running across. I better put them up. There you go. Well, hello, Connie. You're here too. How fun. We love a card class, don't we? Oh, and Kim's got the little feet going. And Steva's got the little feet going. We do have fun with our emoticons, don't we? All right, so next we're going to get a scissors. I'm going to put all, oh no. I want one more little thing with this. I'm going to do some peacock, make it a little darker. This ink goes on really fast. It's not all inks are give up. Look at that, it had a booger in it and it made a big old mark. It's okay though. Not all inks are equally generous with giving of themselves. But oh, a puppy? Yeah, that's a good guess. The Boom Boom. The Boom Boom. He's doing so well at knowing his name. He isn't doing real well at knowing what we mean, but he's getting his name, and that's a big step. Today he looked at me and he kind of looked at me and like and said, "I've got a name. That's so important." So here we go. We're going to tap these all together, all three, and cut the notch at one time. Cut up the center, cut right up to it. And then if it's not loosening up, that's okay, because we can pull them. Twist, and that's got a little too much. That tooth is still attached. A little too much. There we go. There, we've got it. Now, we're going to put this guy in the middle, and we're going to put these. These are going to be fine. It's blue. These are going to go above. I'm going to lean it over just a little bit over there because I want it to be angled. In foundations, it's straight, but you don't have to do it like that. You can make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, before I put all that down, however, I have one more little step of interest. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the ends, and we're going to tailor these just a little bit. You know, like with a little cuff. So they're real fancy like. And it gives it a little bit of a terminal in there like you would have just with a fancy shirt. We're going to line these up just like that. Give it enough that it won't be falling off. Come out a little bit. And it just makes it look so tailored. And then just cut parallel to your tips. No need for any fancy gizmos on this. This is just cutting. And then cut right along that edge. See if you think that it gives it a real finished look. There we go. Oh, that booger's there still. No more. And this one we're going to put a little bit of, I was going to put a little, I was going to put a little bit of crystal blue in there, but I don't see it. So you know what I can do? It's going to be a matte. So I'm going to gut this thing so I can have a piece of it. Not a very, not a very tidy one, but it's okay. That's all going to be hidden. You just want it to be a little bit lower than this top to be a little bit higher than the piece, because you got to cut a little taller. So since we took the time and put everybody together at once, all the notches should be pretty much the same. Okay, there, that's looking good. See, doesn't that make, since this is a long, since it's a long card, you've got to have a little bit of something over here. We'll put a little end on it, and your eye will have a little bit of help. I'm not fine. Am I doing okay? I'm not seeing that. There's just a little bit of talk going on. I guess I don't need to know. So I just put a little strip of adhesive down the center of that, because that's going to be on top. And then we should be able to shimmy these up underneath it a little bit. Without getting too complicated. I'm going to make, before I go any farther, I'm going to make this one a little shorter. There we go. So that way we can make them spread out a little bit. Then we can just trim the edge. And that makes it a little more interesting too, to spread it out. It gives it a little more balance. Then we're going to put this guy over here. I can't remember. It's C006. All of these are C006 tonight, but different variations. So I thought that might be helpful. Then I gutted, that looks really bad, but I gutted it. But what I thought this looked like it blended in a little bit too much together, and I wanted a little bit more definition. So I just brought in the sanding block. And since this is white core, not hardcore, but white core, just a little buffing will bring out a little white so that it is a little more interesting. That would be quite a picture right there, wouldn't it? Stop it right there, and you'd have kind of a horrible little picture there. Then we've got one more piece on it. We're going to go ahead and use this just to give it a little bit of color down here in the corner. And I do have it. Okay. And I cut a little kitty out. So he's a white version of Kerwin. And I pulled this one out. It says, "You are perfect." But I don't want to have the whole thing on here. I just want "you are." So I'm going to eyeball where that's going to end right there. I don't want perfect to be on this side. It's going to go in the inside. So I'm going to double up on safety. I'm going to ink just the UR. But if it does get on the perfect, then we're going to have this to catch it. There we go. And then we'll do the same on the perfect inside. We'll just mask off the UR. Now we can almost put that on there. We can put the kitty on. He's going to be hanging out. Another thing you can do with the Slimline Jim Sam Elliott cards is you can pull things out and so that they go to the next element and have a little flow there. And I thought that we definitely did not have a visual triangle going here. So I wanted to put something right up here. So I found a little heart. I have several little hearts right in, just hanging out with my blocks because they've been around for so long and I don't know where they go. So I stamped it once, lifted it up, and just did one more. Oops, you can't see it. I gave up too much ink on that first one. That's okay. You know, I don't like it though. I want the second one to show up. Just a little bit. That's a little better. Not much, but a little bit. And then he's going to go right on there. You could add some little embellishments on here. I didn't. Some little white sequins would be pretty. Teeny little ones that catch a little blue on it. This could be, there it is. That's kind of cute. This could be all sorts of things. With fall coming up, you could do these in like browns and orange and yellow. You could have leaves in here. You could have a lot of texturing on here. It would be pretty. You can also turn this around so that it's on, well, not that way, but you can turn it around this way and have this be the header and bring it down with all the little tails hanging out. Thank you, Patty girl. Another thing you could do is make this larger and still be a C006, and then just bring that larger and then have smaller amounts of tails. So that's just a couple ways to make this variation. And then I have a colorful version because I'm so tired of monochromatic cards. And this is real fun. This was just a plain old simple fun one. I just used some background and texture paper or some pattern paper. And all we did here was add a sentiment and then a little pop of color to pull it all together. Which is kind of funny. I think these 3 papers are all from different companies, so you don't have to, and it didn't take much. So it's just definitely a scrap card. And then because we're not all sure if we love slim lines, but we know we like little ones, here's the same design in a mini slim. So there we go. Yeah, they turned out okay, didn't they, Kim? So they're not fancy, but they are definitely workable, and I think they can be used real easily. And see, here they are straight, and you can also make the middle one, the middle one is on top, this one is underneath, so you can really adjust it to make it really fun. A lot of opportunity for scrap. You could paint those. I mean, you can do anything. But I thought that would be a kind of a fun. I've got a mini slim for every card tonight. So let's keep moving. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. I'm going to put this one up here because we're going to vote on it later. Oh, here's something I did first. And it turned out awful. So, well, not awful, but maybe I can salvage it. But that was my original thought, and it was just, there was not enough white, and it just blended in too much. So this one had a lot more pop and variety, and this one did not make, but I put it in there so I could show you. Okie doke. We're going to winter. We just did kitty. Now we're going to winter. Are you ready? No, we're not going to winter. One of the samples is a winter. That's right. We are going to the islands. This is this is one of the C006, and I don't remember. Maybe I have the variation. This is variation 5. So we're going to go ahead and put this nice long strip of cardstock on. I'm going to get my soap out here. This is one of those times if you may think you should try it down here because you're going to be putting this on here, but it's going to give you a lot more accuracy if you come up and go from that side down. You have 2 pieces here jutted up against the card, which will help you out. I put some washi tape on this too, like with the die plates, because I couldn't find it. It was always missing, always. Then the little square, I think, is 3 by 3. I had a piece of gray that was torn, and I thought, there is a lot of difference between the islands and the... But they do have winter on the islands. So this one we're going to go ahead and... Well, yes. But I had a torn piece of gray, so I just grabbed it and decided to use it. I thought, well, that's kind of another way to just remind everybody that there's some fun little detail kind of things that on the islands at Christmas. In the winter on the islands. This time we're going to grab some pineapples. And one of the fun things that you can do with colors is you can make things out of the ordinary. You can stamp them in a whole nother color range, and it makes things go, people go, oh, that's so cute, because they're not expecting it. It gives you a little bit of surprise. Where is my sapphire? It gives you some surprise. It's in the... I put things in the little baskets and then forget about it. But it's a fun way to surprise your viewer, and they will think you think out of the box. It's just changing colors. So it's kind of a fun thing to do. So we're going to make our pineapples sapphire blue. I'm going to stamp him off once. This one's going to be a little shorter, so we get 2 tones out of it. This one's going to be a little higher with a little space between. For our crowns, I think we'll do a gray instead of a blue, which was my original intent, but I'm changing my mind. Here's the crown, which is an excellent series on whatever that Netflix. I'll go light on that one too, and then heavy on this one. It's kind of unusual, isn't it? Now you can see why people, you may not love it, but you can see why people think it's how you get out of the box thinking. This piece is how big it is, I forget. It's 2.5. So let's make this 2.5, and we'll find out where to cut it, because the foundation has this piece has it as 4 separate pieces, which you could do different colors, or you can just take an image and cut it up. So there's our first one. Just set that on there. It's got a little sticky on it. That'll tell us where to go. And I just found, right before the show, I found that little holder downer. So we'll put that along there. Check my straightness. It's not too bad. Give it a sliceroo. Then I think we'll just take that. Oh, I got a little piece of it out. And then just put it on here. Flip it around. Like so. Whoops. It's not going to behave. But I can make it cooperate. Here we go. So all those years in the classroom. Forced cooperation. And then come along here and do it again. Then we're going to replace it just with a tiny space in between. You could also mat that on another color if you wanted to. It could even be something completely different, like purple, which would be really fun. So does this look like winter on the islands, or does it, or what? What are we getting here? Spread it apart just a little bit. This might be a good time for some liquid glue. So we have our wiggle room. Yes, we have no bananas. Oh, good. Interesting good or interesting bad? Miss Patty. It has, you can do, you know, if this would be one of those things if you had people or animals, it's not always an easy way to cut those. You always cut a pineapple, but you have to be careful not to cut off heads and arms and things like that when you're doing it with an animate object, so to speak, image. Let that set a minute. Looking to see if I have a sentiment, which I do not right now. So let me get one out. Well, we could do Merry Christmas now, couldn't we? It is hot in the islands when it is winter, so we could do Thinking of You. That would work just fine. I cleaned some blocks today. This is not one of them. I think I'm going to go with black though, just because black is such a, I love sentiments in black. It is not overbearing, but it does tell you, hey, look at me. I'm important. There we go. Whew. Nothing like going to the beach on Christmas Day. Yeah, that's a whole nother world. You probably did it in Brazil, huh? Yep, I bet you did. I'll bet you. Okay, and then for little gems and things, let's see, we've got some black here. I think that's too much, but you could do some little silvery things. Here's some little gray. See, I just have all these things. I just want to use them. I get a little obsessed here. Use them. I see some. Okay, good. See, they're all in here. And let's go ahead and pull some out and make them pretty. So let's see if we did, you could just do it right here on the strip without pulling them all over the place. They don't stick out very much, but they're there. I can't see it too well on the camera, but I can see them really well in person. So that might be a good thing. Another thing is you could add some shimmer, or even before you set this, oh, you know what would be pretty? I wasn't going to do this, but you know what would be pretty at this point? is just adding some Versamark. Doesn't even have to be perfect. And some clear embossing, and that's going to look like $1 million. That's going to set that up just enough. Even the Versamark on there looks good, but it's going to set it up just enough. I got to find the clear one. To make your focal point more focally. Because a focal point that isn't focally is not a focal point. It's an unfocal point. What is your unfocal point? That's how most of my conversations are, with much non-focal points. Okay, we've got a little bit on the outside, and I think that can be a design element in itself. What you think? Let's find out. Somewhere I'll find the end of this, and it will show me where my heat tool is. I have found the cord. I see the problem. There we go. Now, since I have already gone ahead and glued it all down, I don't want to get this too terribly hot. I'm going to let this get hot, and because otherwise it may lift up some of the adhesive. That's hot. And we'll go ahead and open it up so that it can be, whoops. It's going to go fast. There it goes. But I may have to put something heavy on it once it cools. Yeah, this is a good touch. This is one of my favorite things, though. So, if it's not your favorite thing, it may not be a good touch. You could also put some, this would be really cool if you were not doing a class on blue, to put some pinks and oranges behind there like it's at sunset. You got it almost makes it look like a window without having to have a window die or anything fancy. It's just a kind of a window. Looks like I missed a whole bunch right there, a whole line of it. Okay. But yep, it always makes them darker. That looks cool. Even if it's all blue and gray and it's long. So anyway, that's kind of a fun thing. I hope you like it. I like it. I'm going to put something on here though, so it will not buckle quite so much, and push it off to the side. Card 2. Let me show you a couple samples of card 2 in different colors. Here's one with some light blue and some greens. I apparently like this one because I did 4. Here's one with different colors of cardstock and some white embossed butterflies, which is right now are really fun because there's so many butterflies right now. They're very inspiring. They're in Journey. And here's one just using stickers, and this is a stamp. And here's your mini slim with the pineapple top, so kind of a fun thing, and a little gingham ribbon thinking, and then inside it would say it says a view, and it's matted on the orange, and this was drawn, so that's kind of a fun little thing. Anyway, different ways to make it. This one wouldn't show it in foundations, but this is, you could put the whole thing covered with pattern paper. It wouldn't be bad. Now, word to the wise, I've been seeing some pattern paper that's very busy, and then a focal point that is like really hard to pay much attention to. It's a look, I think it's not my style, but just watch for it and see if you like it. It's not my style, but watch for pattern paper that looks good with a focal point. That's just my own 2 cents. But those are some ways to make card 2 which is all about standing tall like a pineapple, which was one of the C006s, and then a mini slim. And this is almost this, no, it is a little bit smaller. So just think about when you're doing a mini slim, you may want to make the focal point just a little bit smaller, or sometimes it works just fine as a normal size. If you've got a 3.5 here, you can always cut it here too and make it a little different size. There's nothing that says it has to be 3.5 by 8.5. Absolutely nothing. You got the power to do what you want, which I always like that. Card number 3. Oh, here's one more. Oh gosh, here's another pineapple. Okay, so I must have really liked that one. I didn't, or I just forgot that I was doing them. This one is on some silver, like we talked about at the beginning of the class, and some white embossed pineapples split apart, just very small splits, but looks pretty cool. And then you've got the negative positive space. There's the reverse. Kind of a fun thing to think about, isn't it? So you could also do some white, or some little white things on here, which would just be fine, or silver would be really pretty too. Some silver thread underneath there would be knockout stuff, and that would all be good. This one's, and it's Sherry, I like this too. It's actually a sapphire blue. It's, or outdoor denim or something. It's a real dark blue. It's probably does look just black, but that would be cool too. You are absolutely right. And then this overlapped. I think maybe it would work nicer to emboss this one and then mask it and then emboss that, because it doubled up. See how it doubled up and just made a blob? So live and learn, and then get loves. But that's something to enjoy too. Hope you. There were a couple little techniques in there. I don't talk about them, but you see them, and about how to find the center or cut it down and things like that. So hopefully that is helpful. Okay, I got another card somewhere. Where is it? Oh, it's over here. This one's pretty easy too. This is also a C006 version 7. And let me get my samples out of here, because I don't want you to see them too early, because they're kind of pretty. I want you to stay to the end of the show. Okay, so we have a regular card base, 3.5 inches by 8.5, and then we've got a piece that's going to go on here. We're going to just random stamp on here first, and then we're going to cut it down mercilessly. We're going to use an old feather stamp. Let's see. Once again, I didn't buy any new stamps. These are all old, but you can always find a feather stamp. It seems like they're always available. This one was an old one, S1709 from Close My Heart, but it's going to work just fine, I think. I think. And I'm going to get my black out. Not white out, black out. And my scratch paper went somewhere, because I'm in a random stamp, so it's going to go off the edge. Well, there it is. Okay, hang on. There's my cornstarch too. Imagine an elephant bending over to pick up a piece of paper. It's not pretty. Hey Sue, how are ya? So we're not going to call it random stamping because Sue's on. We're going to call it planned stamping. We're going to plan to move them around and fill in the spaces. We're going to pretend we made a spreadsheet on knowing where to put all these things. My craft roulette guest for next week, a week from tomorrow, we were talking. She said when she found out how many combinations, she's got a degree in accounting. She said, when I found out how many combinations, I got giddy. Puts fear in some people. She liked it. So she should be pretty fun. It's not Leslie this time, though. She's coming up. She's on deck. I think I'll flip that one over. I think I used colored pencil when I practiced this card. But I think I'm just gonna flip. I think I will just flip it over and color it that way. You like when Steven says whoa? Yeah, it's those old horse things. They die hard. I use whoa. There he goes. I use whoa for the dogs too. Whoa, whoa. They don't always listen though. That they're supposed to know what it means. Okay, I'm gonna flip this around and do the. It's not gonna be fit. It's not gonna fit exactly. This may be a mistake, but it's okay. Whoops. Take it up. It'll fill in the extra spaces. Actually, by doing this. It doesn't go exactly the same direction as the feather stamp because it twists off to the side. But you know, if you do it on purpose off register, then you're groovy. You just don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to do that one backwards even. And we'll just not do a really good job and it'll look artistic and it'll be fabulous. We can always come in with some other colors too to make some darker spaces, and it'll be just fine. This would be pretty with some green in it too. But since we're just doing blue, I had to stay with the program. Yep, that's a pretty big number. It is that. And it's always so different. It's just so different. I am a craft roulette addict, I'm telling you. So then we're going to cut this down into pieces as per the instructions. I can't remember how big I'm supposed to cut these, so let me give it 2 inches. Okay, I can do 2 inches. Whoa. We'll do 4 inches first and go backwards. And then I am going, you know, they don't have to all be so they look like they're next to each other either. You can, I'm going to go ahead and trim just a little bit off of all 4 sides. So it's going to be a little bit smaller than the regular size. And we're going to mat a couple of them. If you don't put them all in the right order, then it will, so that you have to worry about them matching. You're going to give yourself a lot more leeway too. But this is how to do it if you want to make them look like they were all one piece of material and then cut up, is to take a little bit off of a bunch of sides, all 4. And then I've got a couple pieces right here to map a couple on. And that will just make it a little more interesting. You could do it with all of them and make different colors. This would be really cute on some black, I think, with some bright pops of red and that sort of thing. You could do pumpkins. This would be really cute with a pile of pumpkins. Or leaves. This could be really gorgeous with some leaves. Super gorgeous. Or you could turn it the other way and make it tall too. Just remember that when you're stamping, it may make a little bit of a difference. Okay, this one has a little edge around the sides. You could also expand it so it goes clear across. I'm going to go back to liquid glue. I'm going to do the 2 outsides first, and then we'll deal with the insides. Oopsie. This could be, I bet, you know, you could even do this just with some die cut, whatever's, rectangles, like from last month with the rectangles. Let me get this guy, see if I can shoot it straight. Maybe a little tricky, because that's gonna, oh, not too bad, girl. All right, kiss your brain. Go ahead and do this one, and we'll have this one ready so we know how far apart to put these guys. You could add, okay, we're not going to have too much room, kind of like my pants after I've stretched them a little bit. There we go. Then we're going to, if you're trying to make one edge straight, I would do the top edge, because we've got a bottom edge here, a bottom detail that we can add, and that can cover up any kind of mistake. I mean, not mistake. Whatever didn't quite work at the top. Gotta have those boo-boo fixes, right? You know, I don't think I want, well, we're doing all blue, so I'm gonna do my blue. That's all there is to it. Oh my, sounds like we're under attack. The dog's just, Boomer has decided to bark. He's not barked that much until just recently. He's getting confidence and a sense of responsibility, and he thinks that he thinks he needs to bark for us, so I can't fault him. He's trying to do his job. There we go. And then we'll just add another blue. That's blue with black ink. That's a dark, dark blue. To pull these out together a little better, the blues, I do have some pencils here. You could definitely bring in some pencil just to add a little bit of, to pull in this blue with this blue. Just to add a little bit of, you could do some watercolor, you could wet this watercolor pencil and just do some scribbling, just because scribbling is very artistic. Oh, it kind of reminds me of my old bird, one of my old parakeets. Real pretty blue bird. And that way it pulls it all together. And then we have another dark, dark blue, but I'm not so sure I have any kind of pencil that works for that. But maybe a little ink smudging would work to pull them all three together so that everybody cooperates and feels important and belongs in this card family here. If we were to throw in like this right now, this one feels a little bit like, hey, I'm just going to do a blue because we're doing blue and it's the only blue I have, and it doesn't fit quite right. So we're going to add just a little bit of a dark blue. We can do a splatter, that would work. And that would pull it together. Even something as simple as that would work. Okay, I'll come back and make that prettier before I take a picture of it tonight. But if I pull out, this is good old outdoor denim. That's ancient. Yes, Mr. Boomer is much more comfortable. He is really comfortable every morning when he gets in bed with me. And says, oh, I can't believe I'm still here. I love you so much. Can I give you your bed bath? Your bed bath and beyond. So that's our little coordination there of all three blues. And this would have been nice to do before. So, yeah, he still won't load, but that was a mistake right there. But he will someday. We haven't even tried. And there are times that he just doesn't think coming when he wants to go do something else is a good idea, but he will someday. This would be a really good card for a gentleman. I think. Yeah, that's gonna have to live the way it is. That's, you can see that though, can't you? How that one is just like, it's heavy. It's right there. It's a tension. It's a nuisance. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I'll add some darker color somehow, and we'll figure out how to make this together. But if it doesn't work, it's okay. It may or may not work. I will show you the other samples. That's what you get for making something and then remaking it, you know. It's kind of a craft roulette thing right here. Where are the other cards? There they are. Okay, so then this is very cool with the blue. Pardon me, blues. This is now, we're going into autumn with a snap of our finger. It's all it took. And then there's a mini slim with the same feathers. Now this was a little too plain, so I added some little dots from a stamp set. And then I thought, well, I don't know how big this is. And so I started drawing lines to do the divisions, and I didn't measure or anything. And so this probably could be, just add another couple lines. It'll look more interesting and on purpose. So that's just kind of a way that just happened. This one is, I took a bunch of scraps, and these have been sitting here for a couple weeks, and that was just one set of the scraps, and I just cut it into this piece, added a little bit of craft, tied a little knot with some junky twine, and then added a thank you. So, and then I saw these in my drawer, so I just pulled those out and added them. So those are some cards, some more long cards. Now, something else on these long Slim Jim Sam Elliott's, your eye has to move to see the whole thing. Yeah, you try it and see if you can, like if you just look at thank you, down here, your eye is, your peripheral, it's in your peripheral vision, I think. It is on mine. Maybe your eyes are set farther apart and you don't have that. But so you have to think about, do you need to have somebody look down here? If you do, you're going to have to think of something to pull them in. But if you have something here, big space here, your eye is going to not get to rest. It's going to have to move. So that's something to think about too. So you're going to want to think of your flow and whether you need anything down here or on the other side, or if it's okay just to have it concentrated here. This is another one of those situations where you can make it a 3.5 by 5.5, and it's not any size that we know about. It's your own size. So if you want to, you can do think that way too. Remember, we're not tied into any rules here. So yeah, I think I will add some more lines there. It's so funny. And I blocked this off. I did, and then just used a Sharpie, and then popped that one up because it needed to be a little popped up, and I thought a little fall color would be good. Okie doke. That is that. Another pile of cards. Oh, I've got one more card. Now we are going to winter. We're going to Christmas. This has a lot of pieces. I may make a little easier version here, but I have some of it done already anyway, so it's okay. One thing that I did do, which since I don't want to keep you too late, is I did mask all this off and just sponged in the little extending piece there. This is C006 version 6. But we don't need to do that because you know how to do that. But I will do it. Let's see what happened to my brush. The cat's not here, so hasn't been taken, but I don't see it. Okay, we'll get, I know I have 2 blues because I use blue all the time, so I got 2 somehow. So we're just going to go brushing up with a little bit of blue. And I used Carolina for this one. And that's pretty straight, I think. Let's see. Maybe a little more. We're just going to do this as a little bit of interest, like we'd said, pulling it down to the other end of the card. You know, not all masterpieces are 8 by 10. Think of different art pieces that you've seen over the years. And different size people use different size canvases, and this is just another size canvas. It's just a fun little aside. It's just another way for you to have more opportunity for different ideas, which isn't a bad thing at all. Did I put my stamp in there? I don't know. Where's my snowflakes? We may not do our snowflakes. I don't know what I did with them. That's okay. We can make a different version. I did pull out a little piece of vellum to go over that. I'm going to put the focal point right there, so we're going to stick the vellum down with this. It's not in my bin. Yes, it is. I was looking in the wrong bin. This is a couple little snowflakes. They've been around for a long time. I'll even show you. They have been around so long that Sue was in a card class when I used this stamp set. So that's how long this one's been around. Good point, Kim. The Mona Lisa is a tiny little piece. She's not big at all. She's a little thing. And so is true. It's kind of a funny thing on the cards that I post on social media. In real life, they're small, but on social media, they're huge. And you can't see the imperfections when you're looking at a real size one. But then, man, you get them on that big screen, and it's like, whoa, where'd that piece of glue come from? You know, stuff like that. So, oh. Okie doke. Now we'll put this guy here. Here's something you can do too to get a little more mileage out of your vellum. Just cut it up and hide the cut. Why is this? I don't know. Cat burr. We're going to put something on there. It's okay. So then this guy. Scratch paper. I don't know. Don't look, Sherry. I'm going to get stuff on the sides. Here we go. We're just going to do a little bit of stamping on the edges. And we're going to do a little bit of sponging on the edges. I don't know what I had this out for, but it's been a nice little piece of scratch paper. Yep, this was that class, Sue, that you came down to Paola to do. That was a while back. Then I pulled out a couple pieces of the cardstock that goes with this ink. Found this little gizmo. I thought I should use it up. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick it on the sides. If you went to stick this little piece, that smaller piece, you would it wouldn't stick. So you make it at least big enough to grab underneath the card. And then you have another way to have a little bit of more interest. And then once you get that done and you put it on here, you're good to go. It's not going anywhere. This is not cut so that it fits right. But guess what? That's okay. Because you can't add, you can always cut it off. And I personally kind of like doing this. There we go. Then down the center, I embossed a little piece of white, which is pretty, with some snowflakes, because we're down in the Caribbean at Christmas. Like so. Then we're going to add just a little bit of a piece of bright blue. I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but we're going to do it because it's just paper, and that's going to be part of the focal point. Then I cut that little piece of craft foam to pop up the focal point. And I just used a die that was a little bit smaller than this. Now, I'm not going to do this one right now. I'm going to let you, you've already seen all the techniques on that. This is the sentiment. I think they say Noel in the islands, probably with a pretty good accent. It's a little tall. And you could put this on first, but I didn't. Stick that right under there, or right here, and then you can come over on this side and stick it and have it come out just a little bit. Make it long enough to stay under though, and you would put some adhesive. You'll put that right there. That makes a really pretty base for this card, and there he is all pretty. And this ink matches that bright blue, so you do pull it together. I did add some stars. I think they may be a little obnoxious, but at the same time they did add a little more base to it. It just anchored it a little bit to have a little darker one, a little darker color. And I think, you know, in hindsight, this, if I had second generation this would be good, because you'd have the color of blue, but not the darkness of this blue, and it wouldn't be. I think it would just look better. On this one also, I sponged the embossing just a little bit, and I don't know, it just seems a little cold. But it's blue. Blue's cold. You were just a kid, that's right. You were just a baby. But blue is cold, and then I did that in silver because silver looks really good with blue. I added a couple sparkles, which is very fun for Christmas cards. And that's that. Let me show you a couple made. Here's the Slim Mini, or Mini Slim, same basic design. And here it is. It's just another thing to think about. Here it is flipped around at the other end. Same design, flipped around, other end. And the reason I did that, and there really was a reason, I didn't want these guys looking off the card. I wanted them to look into the card and into the saying. So I flipped them around. They were inspiring that way. And just used a little pattern paper in the background. And these were old stickers. I did pop them up because they were not going to be outstanding, and I wanted them to get center stage. This is a super simple little card just with a little bit of burlap. Now let me tell you something about this. Yes, ribbon. This is burlap, and it has a little bit of tie around it, and that was because it was tangled in my drawer. So it wasn't a decorative thing on my point on purpose, but it turned out where I just went, that looks good, I'm keeping it. And it was just because it was in a tangle, because my drawers are so messed up. So anyway, that's just a little fall color. Wouldn't that be an easy card to make when you're talking about soldiers and things? And this could totally be a little piece of paper, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. You could do die cuts of the leaves or whatever you want to do, but it's very, very simple. Thanks, guys. And then this one's just very playful, and this one's an elegant Christmas card. So, you got quite a variety there tonight. We went to the islands, had Christmas. We had quite a bit going on here. Oh, here's another one. I forgot. Here's another one. Let me show you what this is like. This is if you wanted to do a different style. You can stick something on this one. Actually, I think it was for the pineapples. So this would fit on here, and it would fit as a focal point on here. So you can start to see a frame is nothing more than 1/4 to 1/2 an inch larger than the focal point. So yeah, this one's kind of pretty, isn't it? And so it's just think in terms of don't worry too much about the sizes. They're going to be okay. And if they look like they're too small, they probably are too small, and then you just need to make them a little bigger. And sometimes all it takes is a little bigger mat. So just relax and play. Next month we're going to be talking about proportion in scrapbooking, but I think you'll find it follows through to all paper crafts. And then next month here, we're going to be talking about using small stamps, medium stamps, and large stamps, all in different weeks. So you will be getting a lot of sizes going on there too. So we're going to just keep pumping it into you as much as we can and as much as you will tolerate, and hopefully calling it good. Shall we, ladies? I think it'd be more fun in some ways, to vote on the secondary cards, but we're not going to do that right now. That would be really pretty with some silver thread, which I do not have, but that would be pretty. I really like it with the vellum, or not the vellum, the embossing on it. That looks really cool. All right. Okay, are we ready to vote? We had enough, I think. So we have card number 1. You guys have all been very attentive. Card number 2, card number 3, and card number 4. Let me put that down just a little bit. Maybe it will. Another thing, before I get any farther, another thing, to make a card close flatter, you can turn it inside out and give it a crease inside, and then turn it again, and it will lie flatter. There we go. So we have a 2 and a 4 from Miss Sherry. We've got a 2, Pineapple Girl, for Sue. We've got a 3 for Connie. She likes to be tickled with feathers. We've got a 1 and a 4 from Patty. She's got the critter card to go on there. That makes sense. Yeah, good. We've got, in order, we've got Kim going 4, 2, 3, 1. Very good. Now remember, you've got different colors too. Do you want to see some of the slimline samples and vote for those? Where are they? They are over here. Let me do the slimline samples, because that's kind of fun too. There's that one. What one was that? That one was this one. Or that one, but we'll just keep that. We'll just double vote tonight. Nope, that one was this one. There we go. Then we can do the minis. I just did that with one piece of paper. Don't remember. There it is. Okay, are you ready for this one? For the secondary cards, because we sure covered a lot. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you have a favorite? I don't know. Maybe everybody went to bed. Okay. So Sherry likes 2 and 3. Sue likes 1. We don't usually do this one, but I thought I had so many darn cards. 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep, 3. You like color? Yes, I do too. Isn't it make you appreciate colorful cards? And 4 with a second with a 2 as a second one, I guess. Oh, 4 is a close second. Okay. So you like this one, that one's your second. Yep. Yeah, I can see that with you. Absolutely makes sense. Yeah, it does make you pause and think about color, doesn't it? And 3. Yep. You know, this one, since we're kind of moving into fall, I think that, oh, that's okay, Sue. We don't mind. This looks better to us. If we did this in the spring, it wouldn't look so pretty. 3, 2, 1, 4 for Kim. Cool deal. Nice job, ladies. And then for the mini slims, I don't remember which one's which, but I don't even know where the fourth one is. Oh, there it is. I think it was something like this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see some bricks? Yes, you did see some bricks. I'll hang that. There we go. I did see some bricks. Oh, was that your 4 for this one, Connie? Yeah, this one. Okay, you like 4, Patty. And Sue likes, I missed her. Sue likes 4, Connie likes 1. Sherry likes 1. Isn't that fun? These are, I just flipped over and stamped too. I did them once in black and once in color. So it was really fast. Patty, yes, these are bricks. These were paper. It was a paper. Sherry likes 1. Yeah, it's good old things. Yes, you love your dogs. That's right. We're suckers for our dogs, aren't we? That's exactly right. But yep, it was, I can't remember where the paper was from. I think it was just some cheap paper at Michael's. So Kim votes, you have so much thought in yours. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Very cool. Kissing our brains, everybody. Whoa, it's been a big month. Very good. Thank you so much for bearing with me. And I think you guys like cards. I think it's a pretty good indication that you like cards. And hopefully you picked up a few tips that will help you make cards even more awesome than you usually do. Homework is always great. Remember, you can do it right up until class time, showcase time. So not a hurry, just kind of keep it going. And I would love to see, not need, but I would love to see some layouts made. So keep that in mind too. Look how many cards we've made this month. This is how many cards I've shown. 3 weeks. You guys, that's nuts. There's probably a few more laying around too. But that is, these are not, yeah, I guess they are the sample and the in-class card. Will flip my lid. But, oh, good for you, Sue. We cover a lot of territory. And there's a few tips involved too. So I hope that you feel like this is a good thing. I enjoy it. We have made a decision. I know. We have made a decision. You're going to see a lot about launch. Launch is going to be September 1st. You guys are all covered. You will stay at the $9.95 price as long as you stay active. We're going to up the price a lot. So it is going to be worth it for everybody to lock in as much as they can now. If you have friends, that's all I'm saying. If you have friends that you know that are on the fence, this is a time. It's going to go up a lot. But even though it's going to go up a lot, it's still going to be under $2 a live class, which is still unheard of. So, so do tell your friends that this is the time, and do tell your consultant friends, because we do hit on a lot of things that the companies don't. I think that's true, and it's things that you can teach your classes too. If you have downline, this is a great time to give them a gift for a couple months. Give them a goal and say, you make this much money in sales and I will give you 2 months free, and it's only going to cost you $10. So things like that. We can do all sorts of things to everybody just gets to decide whether they want to come. But I think we've got an incredible product. So, and we have an incredible student body. That's even cooler. So, anyway, you all are ready to hear it, aren't you? Assume the position. Kiss your brain. Thank you, Oodles and Oodles, for all your help and input. And thank you, Patty, that you liked the class. I think surely there was something new or a new way to think. And that's what we do. We promote ideas. Thank you all. I gotta stretch so far over here. I'm kissing my brain and Patty is too. Nighty night.